abundant thinking propels us to explore new skills fearlessly. Creativity knows no bounds, actually liberates the mind and transforms the scarcity of time into an abundance of meaningful moments. These days, people have no empathy, even in relationships. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my positive space. It's your girl right here, Mrs. A. I just want to take a moment to say a ginormous thank you to all my subscribers and viewers. Thank you for your time and for your support, especially for your amazing feedback and comments. I do not take it for granted. Last week, we started the series on Scarcity Mindset. We defined what the scarcity mindset is, addressed a misconception about the scarcity mindset, being linked solely to financial scarcity most of the time, and touched briefly on some areas that the scarcity mindset can actually impact or affect our lives. Today, we are zooming in a little closer and we're going to explore areas where the scarcity mindset can sneak into our lives even without us realizing. So lend me your ears, relax, and let's learn something together. Imagine living a life where you are constantly experiencing the thoughts of fear, lack, and limitations. Simply put, the scarcity mindset is that feeling of never having enough, whether it's time, money, love, opportunities, or whatever you may think. This is the point where people actually don't stop to even realize what is possible or available. In their thoughts, there is a lack, and that's it. It would never have anything to do with what is actually happening in their lives. It's just a lack. It's a mindset. So, without further ado, let's look at these areas where the scarcity mindset can actually affect our life. Number one, financial stability. I'm starting with the most obvious one because finances plays a major role in our lives. There are people who worry about their finances irrespective of where they are financially. So if you met them 10 years ago, they'll be telling you about how financially unstable they are. You know, everybody has got a story, so whatever their story might be. If you meet them 20 years later, they'll be telling you either the exact same story or even worse. I am not saying that people don't have financial difficulties. People do. But when you are operating in the scarcity mindset, what happens is if your mind is already programmed that you are in the lack zone and you're going to remain there, even if you have the slightest improvement in yourself, there is no way that you're even going to recognize it. There's no way you're going to see it because your mind is made up. The issue is not entirely what you're experiencing. It is more to do with your state of mind. This is why you may see somebody that you probably feel like they are financially better off or more stable than you are, but they are constantly declaring poverty over their heads, and I mean non-stop, okay? I'm not saying that people don't have struggles. Everyone does. Come on, even billionaires have their own level of struggle. If you're into business, sometimes you invest the money and you're waiting for it to come and all of that. So I'm not saying that people don't have struggles. But if you think that your finances is lacking for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of your life, perhaps it's time to start looking at how to get yourself out of that. Instead of living in the thought, probably accepting it and constantly declaring it. More often than not, people who have the scarcity mindset see themselves in that box. Not because they don't have it, but it's because that is what they have believed. Like I said in the part one, the scarcity mindset is got to do with your mind, and it needs to be worked on if you find yourself in there. Constantly worried about bills and debts can limit our aspirations. Imagine the peace that comes when we shift our focus from scarcity to financial literacy. So that is you being able to understand the power of budgeting or even investing, basically finding ways to break through the financial struggle instead of tagging yourself with it and enjoying a paradise of scarcity mindset. I could go on about this forever, so let's move on. Number 2, career opportunities. The fear of a limited job market may also lead us to settle for a job that doesn't actually fulfill our passions. Embracing a mindset of abundance opens doors to new skills and networks, creating unforeseen career paths. There are people who will not change their jobs forever, literally. But do you actually know that as humans, our capabilities are enormous? And in fact, even if you train in a particular area, you can also train in another area that you would actually excel, probably even more than what you previously trained in. I'm not saying that people should be changing their jobs left, right, forward, center, but the world is so big. The fact that you are skilled in, becoming even a teacher, let me use that as an example, does not mean that you can't even train to be a nurse or a lawyer or a doctor. Before I became a teacher, I was a mental health manager for well over 10 years. I always had a feeling that I had a place in the classroom. I don't know why. The main reason why I'm a teacher is because it's something I desired. Teaching, as you know or may not know, is not the most financially rewarding job. And this is a fact, right? This is why teachers have been striking, especially in the UK, left, right, forward, center, and I believe it's, even in America as well. It's one of the jobs that you really need to go in because you want to be there. It's a full-on job, okay? There is a lot to do in there, but you need to have the passion. That is the only thing that will drive you. And that's the reason why I'm a teacher. I used to talk about wanting to be a teacher for many years. So when I eventually became, most of my friends were like, oh my God, you eventually got there, like you've actually become a teacher. And I said, yeah, because I just wanted to do it. And I kept talking about it and I worked my way there. So I did mental health for 10 years plus. There's nothing stopping me from trying something else. I felt like I had explored that aspect of my life and I needed to move on. One of the things that I keep telling myself is that there is so much in the world to just feel not stuck, but just to feel like you can't try anything else. If the mental health aspect of, the job was where I wanted to stay for forever, there's nothing wrong with it. If I desired to be there, that's okay. But the fact that I desired something else is just okay for me to move on and pursue that. So when we embrace our mindset of abundance, it really opens doors for skills, for creativity, for networking, and so much opportunities for us. Relationships. Think about the fear of not finding true love, causing us to cling desperately to unhealthy relationships. And I touched on this a little bit last week. But realizing or recognizing our worth allows us to let go, because the scarcity mindset is not just about confining ourselves, but being able to gather the strength to let go. Letting go of unhealthy relationships that would just waste your time, waste your energy, drain you out, and then you end up leaving anyway. When we break loose of that scarcity mindset, we are able to make room for genuine connections that will nurture our souls. So you're not going to allow yourself to be led into that situation if it's not right for you. Time management. Imagine a life where time is viewed as a precious gift rather than a ticking clock. By prioritizing and planning, we are able to transform the scarcity of time into abundance of meaningful moments. This is where intentional living comes in. So you are not just passing the time, being on an autopilot mode, but you're actually living with intentions, living in the moment, enjoying every moment. If you're with your friends, you are actually enjoying that companionship that you have. If you are eating, you're actually enjoying the food that you have. You are in that moment. You're not thinking of the time that is so scarce in anything that you do that you simply don't have time to enjoy anything. Creative ideas. Imagine an artist who is gripped with the fear of running out of creative ideas. Embracing the notion that creativity knows no bounds actually liberates the mind. It allows inspiration to flow from the most unexpected places. So it is all in the mind. If that artist is able to break free from the fear or from the scarcity mindset and train their minds to believe that there is no boundaries when it comes to creativity, then they're just going to be able to let themselves loose and be able to do the unimaginable. Health and wellness. The scarcity mindset often leads to us being in a state of mind to neglect our health. But if we are able to embrace the holistic approach to wellness, including natural remedies, rest and relaxation, that involves looking after ourselves and taking care of our needs, irrespective of our circumstances, we'll be able to enjoy a better health and become the best version of ourselves. Learning and personal growth. Imagine a mind free from the fear of failure. Where learning is a lifelong adventure, the abundant thinking propels us to explore new skills fearlessly, fostering personal growth and resilience. And this kind of ties in back to what I talked about with my experiences with my past career and changing of jobs. Another area of the scarcity mindset is material possessions. This is a big one. Consider the joy of minimalism, where the emphasis shifts from accumulation to appreciation, quality over quantity. This transforms our living space into sanctuaries. When we are so fixated on how much we want to keep, we end up hoarding things. And I'm not talking about when people have diagnoses, but I'm actually talking about wanting to keep hold of all your things. You know, sometimes the house is so cluttered, it gives you stress, it gives you headache. We must learn to keep a minimal and a simplistic life. Now, when you have a scarcity mindset, it doesn't allow this because we always want to keep more. You always want to keep hold of things and you don't want to let go, which in turn becomes clutter all over the place. And that does not help in becoming your best self either. Social connections and community. Imagine a world where we are able to approach relationships with openness and authenticity. We are able to cultivate communities that thrives on empathy and understanding. These days, people have no empathy, even in relationships. People treat each other with bitterness and envy, even in relationships. Like people who are supposed to be friends, people just envy, one another for absolutely no reason. This can actually lead to social isolation because there isn't enough genuine connection or trustworthy people around. And finally, opportunities to give back to society. The scarcity mindset often restricts our willingness to give. People are very scared to let go of anything they have for fear of not having enough. Embracing abundance allows us to contribute to causes that are even greater than us, and this helps us to create a ripple effect. When it comes to giving and kindness, one of the things that I have learned is that the more you give, the more you feel blessed. When we give, we are able to celebrate the joy of generosity. And when I say giving, it's not just about financial giving. We can give through our emotions, through our advice, through physically being involved in helping people out. One of the things that I have done in the past years is helping people who are disadvantaged, people who really need help. I have been involved in a couple of charities, giving clothes and money and other things just to help people. Stories that you hear that you just know that these people need the help. You don't have to have everything to give. You don't physically have to have everything. It could take a matter of you having to speak to a couple of people and saying, look, this person is in dire need and a little help from you will be appreciated or will go a long way. And just getting a few people and putting things together just to support somebody. But the scarcity mindset can actually hold us back from doing this because we fear that we are not going to have enough for ourselves. And this would make us miss out on the joy of generosity. So have a think, in which areas do you feel that you might or you are experiencing a scarcity mindset? Here is food for thought. What opportunities might you unlock? Or what privileges might you get if you are able to work on yourself and shift your mind from the scarcity mindset into the abundance mindset. I'm going to love you and leave you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you better be subscribing because there's some good stuff coming your way. You have yourself an amazing and a super fantabulous week. I am out of here.